Message from Beyond by Paige Bryan. Interior nursery, daytime, 1913. A white Victorian home stands alone in the snow. Cecily, 20s, sits in a small nursery room. There is a crib in the corner. The room is modest but cozy. She holds a baby bundled in her arms. She gently rocks her in a rocking chair.
Goosey, goosey gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs, in my lady's chamber.
Jack, 30s, leans inside the door of the nursery. He is unshaven and distraught. A doctor joins Jack.
It's time, Jack.
I know. Let me.
Jack approaches his wife.
Cecily?
Cecily ignores her husband's presence and continues to rock.
Sweetheart? It's time.
Shh, quiet. She's sleeping.
Honey, the doctor is here to take...
Cecily continues to rock and hums along. The doctor enters and places his hand on Jack's shoulder.
Let me handle this, Jack.
Jack reluctantly leaves. The doctor kneels down by the rocking chair. He abruptly stops the chair from rocking. Cecily is startled that the chair has stopped and begins to rock her body instead. She is oblivious to the good doctor's presence.
It's time, Cecily.
Cecily continues rocking her body back and forth, humming her melody. The doctor stands up and takes her by the shoulders. Cecily looks up.
Time?
It's time, my dear. She's gone.
What? Look, she's sleeping, my angel.
Why don't you let me put her back in the crib, dear?
Cecily stands slowly, baby in arms. She kisses the baby, walks over to the crib, and lies her down.
Thank you for checking on us, doctor.
Cecily is very pale and weak. She turns to leave, but collapses instead. The doctor rushes to her side.
Nurse Marks!
A young nurse rushes into the room. She is wearing a long cape and is carrying a doctor's bag.
Nurse Marks! Get the infant's body out of here at once and leave me my bag.
The nurse sets down the doctor's bag and approaches the crib, taking the baby into her arms. The nurse leaves and Jack returns.
Cecily, my lord! Is she all right?
I'm afraid not, Jack. She too has the fever.
Interior bedroom, daytime, present day, 2014. Inside a dark bedroom, Rebecca, 17, abruptly sits up in bed. She is breathing heavily, dripping in sweat. Her mother, Denise, 37, enters her bedroom and pulls her curtains open. An abandoned white Victorian home stands alone in the snow outside her window.
Come on, time to get up.
God, Denise, I can get up on my own. I'm almost 18.
Why are you covered in sweat? Are you okay?
Her mother tries to feel her forehead. Rebecca shoos her away.
Another nightmare?
I'm fine. Leave, please.
Rebecca gets out of bed and trips over a few boxes.
Fuck me.
Hey! Watch that mouth. We moved a week ago, Rebecca. Get this place unpacked already.
Yeah.
Her mom gathers clothes off the floor as she leaves. Rebecca pulls the curtains closed, gets back in bed, and pulls the covers over her head. Exterior, outdoors, daytime, 1913. A dark hole in the snowy ground. Above the grave, Jack stands stoic. The land is quite desolate. The sky is thick with clouds, and the wind is blowing hard. A minister finishes up a prayer.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Two men carry over baby casket. They lower the casket into the grave. There is only Jack, the two men, the doctor, and the minister as witness. Jack falls to his knees, sobbing. The house is far off in the distance. Back to Rebecca's bedroom. Beneath the covers, Rebecca tosses and turns. Cold air blows out of her mouth as she breathes heavily. Interior house, nighttime, 1913. Inside the home of Jack and Cecily, it is quiet and unkempt. Past the empty nursery, down the hall, past a Christmas tree, then up the winding staircase. A door is halfway closed. A strange sound spills out of the room. Sound, clickety, clickety, clack. Inside the room, there is Jack. He is hunched over a Morse code machine, violently messaging. His desk is lit by candlelight. His facial hair is long, and his ragged vest and shirt a mess. Grunts and groans rise up behind Jack, interrupting his concentration. Slowly, Jack turns. He stands over an old iron bed. Cecily lies in bed, wriggling around from the fever. Jack sits beside her. She looks up for mercy. Her sweaty hair sticks to her face. Jack takes a wet cloth from the dresser. He gently wipes her hair from her cheek. Cecily is moaning and mumbling words. Malaria has taken over.
My baby. Jack, where is she? The baby.
Jack bends down and kisses Cecily's forehead. He lingers for a moment. Cecily moans and looks up at her husband. Her restlessness settles a bit. Jack begins to sing to her the nursery rhyme.
My loved, goosey, goosey gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs and in my lady's chamber.
His singing is slow and methodical. He continues to gently wipe her face. He begins sobbing. Cecily's moans increase.
Shh. I can't stand it any longer. It's driving me mad.
The wiping soon becomes aggressive. Jack sings to her again. The singing is slow and impatient.
I say, be quiet now. Goosey, goosey gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs and in my lady's chamber.
Jack continues wiping her face harder and harder. Cecily's eyes show confusion. The wiping is now pulling at her face. She begins crying out in protest.
Shh, I say, quiet now!
Cecily is too weak from the fever to fight him. Jack shoves the wet cloth down Cecily's throat. She chokes on the cloth. Holding her down, Jack begins crying uncontrollably. He is suffocating his wife to death. Jack shoves the rag so far down her throat he breaks her jaw. Cecily's legs begin to twitch. The choking sounds from her cease. Jack's sobs slow down into long, shallow breaths. The doctor enters the room.
Jack! What have you done?
The doctor stands just inside the doorway. Jack turns quickly. He runs over to his desk and picks up the Morse code machine. He lunges at the doctor. The doctor holds his hands overhead to protect himself.
Jack, no!
Jack smashes the machine down hard on the good doctor's head. A dull thud. The doctor falls to the ground, his head smashed in on one side. Jack looks around the room slowly.
Oh, God!
Jack sets the machine back down on the table. He opens the drawer next to their bed and takes out a pistol. He painfully goes over to the window, opens it, and steps out onto the ledge. Jack holds the pistol to his head and shoots himself. He falls to the snowy ground beneath him. Interior bedroom, dusk. Rebecca bolts up in bed, choking. She puts her hand down her throat and pulls out a piece of cloth with blood on it.
Oh, what the hell?
She examines the cloth and slowly pulls the curtains back to look at the abandoned house. A flash across the window. Startled, she closes the drapes. Her closet door opens suddenly and she screams out.
Gotcha!
Tommy, 11, Rebecca's little brother, jumps out at her.
You little monster!
You slept all day. We were supposed to sled.
Okay, I guess I deserved it.
Mom's gone.
Shocker.
Rebecca slowly gets out of bed.
Meet me downstairs for a movie.
Tommy smiles big and runs out of the room.
I get pick.